Hey everybody, Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for GamingTrend.com. We've reviewed a lot of different chairs from different manufacturers over the years, but this is our first time working with AndaSeat. Their newest chair, the Kaiser 3, carries a lot of the same features as high-end chairs that we've reviewed recently, but this one has a few twists, such as a magnetized pillow and magnetized armrests. Now, does any of that stuff matter? Well, let's unbox this thing and find out. It's a really strange thing to start a review with, but I do want to give some praise to AndaSeat for the way that this Kaiser 3 was packed. Everything was padded. Things like this that are sharp and metal had like a pool noodle type material on it, and it kept things like this that could easily damage the faux leather away from each other, and everything was just well laid out and without a whole lot of waste. So big props to AndaSeat for doing a fantastic job of making sure that what you order is what arrives. Every manufacturer is slightly different on how they approach building the chair, so we're going to pull out the, wow, rather lengthy manual. Take a look at that. Now you've heard me rail against these in the past, plastic caster wheels. I'll leave a link in the description to some single-wheeled rubber casters that I like to use. They're better for hardwood floors for sure, and they actually work on carpet. These tend to suck up carpet and get stuck inside these wheel parts right here and clog up the chair wheel, which, you know, of course can dump you on your face, which if you have video of that, I would love to see it. But so we're gonna go ahead and set these aside for now. We'll try them out, but I already know that I'm gonna be removing those and replacing them with basically a roller skate wheel. So this will be the collar that goes over the air shock, the hydraulic shock. Pretty wide paddle for being able to grab and actuate the chair. Here's the gas cylinder. Looks like they've gone with a fairly standard gas cylinder, but a very short throw one. So we'll see how much of a height this is able to achieve once we get it all hooked up. The other paddle, and looks like a punch card with the 6 bolts, 1 cap, and an Allen wrench to get everything all assembled. So let's get our equipment up here and we'll get started. I've assembled dozens of these chairs so I could do them in my sleep, but that's not everybody's experience. So let's take a look at the instructions and see how well they fare. So it looks like we have instructions in multiple languages. Quite a few actually, which explains the length of the book. And it looks like we have really clear pictures of exactly how to put every aspect of this chair together. Very clear instructions showing you exactly where to adjust things, even how to put on the armrest tops and the head pillow, which appear to be just simply magnetic. A function guide for how to operate the chair, and then some safety instructions that nobody will ever read. Cool, so let's start assembly. The instructions start us off with the assembly of this bottom frame piece. They want us to put the wheels in. Again, these are a plastic caster, and it looks like we have a reinforced post of some kind with a plastic ring on there, maybe to help it rotate, and it looks like a compression ring fitting here. Not sure what the purpose of that is, so if you can tell me, let me know, but I'd be interested to know what those do. But I do want to point out, I have assembled some chairs in the past that have used a plastic frame for this star piece. You know, this is supposed to hold your weight, all of it, and distribute it evenly. So the large version of the Kaiser 3 can hold, so it says the safety instructions here, 260 pounds, that's 120 kilograms for those of you in Europe. Or the extra large is between 175 and 395 pounds, or 80 to 180 kilograms for those of you not in the United States. So when I see manufacturers use plastic, that really concerns me. I also want to take a second and say, pick the chair that fits you. Don't just pick the largest chair unless you plan on getting really, really big. The reason being, these are built around a specific height as well as a specific weight. Sure, it's adjustable, but you're going to find that the positioning of things is kind of awkward, and it may actually even unbalance the chair if you pick a chair that doesn't fit your size. So choose accordingly. This particular chair, thankfully, is a large because I am not over 260 pounds. Nor will I ever be. If I can keep going to the gym anyway. All right, so we've got the wheels assembled and onto the star frame here. The next thing it wants us to do is install the piston and the piston sleeve. So we'll grab that piston, slip the piston sleeve over, and drop it in place. It really is that simple, nothing special there. So we're gonna set this down and grab the rest of the frame to connect the backrest. Looking at the back, we have that Kaiser branding up here and AndaSeat all the way up here that's embroidered just like the front. And then at the bottom here, we have access. So if we ever needed to get into the back of this chair, or maybe there's an issue that we needed to fix, you could open it here with these rings. They do open with just a pair of pliers. You can pry those open and then get inside. Although I've owned a lot of these chairs for a number of years and I've never had to do that. The reinforcement here is single, but this is really not a point where you're gonna have body stress sitting on top of it, so hopefully that's not an issue over time. I've got all 4 bolts out, but I do want to point out that the premium feature I pointed out on the other side is not present on this side. So it's not just going to slide into the channel. We are going to have to kind of fiddle with it on one side, so we'll see if that presents a problem here in just a moment. Before we finish attaching the backrest to the seat, I want to point out another feature that I've never seen on any other chair. On both sides of the Kaiser 3, we have this small red screw. This screw here is actually a safety screw. This is going to prevent this back piece, this plate, from moving. I have had on some chairs this snap out of position and almost smack me in the hand, so this little screw here is actually going to prevent you from hurting yourself while assembling the device. For this next part, we merely slide the backrest, this is that plate I was talking about, over that channel, and it drops right into place. That allows you easy access to thread both of those bolts in that we removed earlier. You're only going to put these in halfway because there will be some adjustment on the other side. So finger tight will definitely do the trick to get started, and then we'll spin it around and do the other side. On this side it looks like we're way out of position, but that is simply because the mechanism that actuates this is only on one side, and that's fairly normal. Actually, I've never seen one that's not that way. So we're going to have to lift up this back piece just a little bit, move this into position, lift it up like so, and hopefully get a couple of threads in to the bottom here. Pretty easy stuff though. This assembly is very easy for one person. So it looks like that side bracket, not really an issue at all. I thought it might be, but nope, piece of cake. Again, you're going to want to make sure you only put these in about halfway to start, because you're going to want to make sure that they go in evenly. Now I am happy to see this. This is a magnetized plate for the side cover. So installing these is literally just like that. Heading underneath the chair, I have never seen this level of reinforcement. You have a solid aluminum plate here, the primary mounting frame here, and another solid aluminum piece here, all welded in with supports. I've never seen that. It's also nice to see 4 bolts instead of 2, and 2 bolts here instead of 1. So clearly AndaSeat has put a lot of work into making sure that this is going to stay sturdy for years to come. Now AndaSeat's allowed to tell me if I'm wrong here, but these are actually commodity. I've seen these in a lot of different chair manufacturers, but this particular style I've only seen on the extremely high-end stuff. These are the $500–600 chairs. So good to see some quality craftsmanship and something that we know is tried and true. So we'll move over here and we're gonna get this mounted. Once we throw these little arms on, they just click into place with those little notches. So we'll do that. Then we're gonna throw 4 bolts in this thing and it should be ready to finish assembly. One of the last portions of assembly is simply connecting the piston to the bottom of the chair, giving that a good shove, and then we're gonna put this thing on the floor. Still a few more pieces to go, but we're gonna go back to a previous step, and that's removing this safety screw. It's really nice that they included this. It's such a simple thing, but if it keeps people safe while they're assembling, I mean, what does that cost them? Nothing? But it can probably save a few fingers. Finishing up assembly, I want to point out a couple of things. If you've ever had one of these chairs lose a bolt, and you've been to the hardware store to try and find one of these, it can be a nightmare. So it's nice that AndaSeat has actually included 2 spare bolts just in case. The last part is this PU, again polyurethane, not that it stinks, PU foam armrest. There's 2 of them, and they've really made sure that these stay pristine. This is obviously where your arms are going to lay, and they just go over the top, and they are magnetized. So this is obviously the one for this side, just drops into place, and a nice strong, very strong magnet holds it in place. So these can be swapped. They are branded, but pretty slick. These armrests are called 4D armrests. Now that's not to say that they transcend space and time, but actually that they move in 4 directions. That's what the D stands for. So here we have a metal latch. I want to actually point this out first. This is metal, this is metal, this whole assembly is metal. Almost every other chair that I've reviewed recently has used plastic parts here. So this is built to last. This button here obviously lets you move this up and down so it can match wherever your arm height is. There's a button on the inside that lets you move laterally. So this is where you may want to have your elbows closer to your body or further away. This lateral movement will let you position that. And then there's a button up front that you press and it releases it to move these in or out. Again, all of these pieces are metal, especially this piece. On other chairs, this tends to be plastic and you just kind of crank it into position, which over time, I do have chairs that I already own that this is already worn out. So this being metal and a release means I'm not cranking against something that's gonna wear out. So almost every chair that I've seen in the last probably 10 years has 4D armrests, but not like this. This is how you do it when you want it to be perfect. Before we get to the last assembly piece, I want to point this out. Now, as I mentioned, there are 2 different types of chairs. There's the large chair and the extra large chair. Almost every manufacturer goes with that kind of designation. They'll have one for tall people and one for short people, or one for, heavier people and one for lighter people, however they want to designate it. But the big differentiator tends to be this seat thickness. So you can see there's quite a bit of padding here. I mean, a ton of it really. You typically only get this on the XL. So a lot of people tend to order the XL because they know it will be more comfortable, even if it's too wide for them and they're going to be kind of shifting in their seat. So they're buying a chair that's really not built for their body style, even just to get better padding. So here from AndaSeat, the Kaiser 3 has all of that additional padding without needing to order a seat that really doesn't fit your body type. So good on you guys for recognizing that people just want to be comfortable and giving them a little bit of extra cushion just to do exactly that. This cushion is also made of a memory foam, so this should contour to your body over time, but the nice part about memory foam versus regular foam tends to kind of compress over time and you'll get dents and different depressions from where your body rests. With memory foam, that does not happen. I have a memory foam mattress that's made of the same material, probably, well, it's 20 or older material, and there's no depressions or anything in it. That memory foam stuff is built to outlast the rest of every component on this chair. The last thing to put on is the headrest. Now these headrests are zippered with that memory foam that I mentioned before inside. And you can see there's a small magnetic plate inside the headrest. I'll walk it over here so you can see that more clearly. So you've got that nice resilient foam, but inside is a cooling gel material. So that's going to keep your head nice and cool. I've never seen that in any headrest ever, nor have I ever seen the magnets. So just like these armrests, go ahead and zip this back up. All right, so that zipper is a little bit of a pain. It's kind of a cheap zipper. The rest of the thing is pretty quality, but bad zippers are bad zippers, folks. That sucks. So I'm gonna take this off camera for just a second and get this fixed up, and then we'll get back to it. Well, I never was able to get that zipper working again. Unfortunately, I'm gonna need to replace this. But it does bring me to the next thing that I need to talk about, which is the warranty. Now, you've heard me harp on about warranties in the past for really any sort of equipment. I think it's important to stand behind your product, and AndaSeat does that. So the frame on the AndaSeat devices, really any of their chairs, is lifetime. So if you have any sort of frame issue, they will cover it for life. Now, the rest of the mechanical components, the leather, the rest of everything else is covered for 6 years. All you have to do is register your device. There's a serial number on the bottom. You've seen that multiple times. Register it so they know that you've purchased it, and you're covered for free for 6 years. So that's probably longer than really any other manufacturer I'm able to come up with. Most of them have 3 years at max. I've seen a few that are 5, but none that are 6. So clearly AndaSeat stands behind their product. We just gotta get better zippers, guys. That's not gonna work. But what does work is this. So rather than using a bunch of straps and buckles to hold it in place, this simply locks on here, which means no components to wear out, other than the zipper, and that just sticks in place. So it's not quite like neodymium magnet. Oh, I can throw it up there. Look at that. Ah, so close. It even goes upside down. So it's nice to see some innovation. It does seem silly, but those straps do wear out over time. I have a couple of chairs that use those sort of straps to hold the headrest on, and the stretchy material of those straps tends to dry out and get stretched out, so the thing will kind of sag a little bit. So this is not going to have that problem. That will stay in place. Just do yourself a favor, don't open the bottom of it. So we're going to use this for a couple of days and see how it holds up under regular wear and tear, and I'll be right back. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you know how much of a stickler I am for warranties. I reached out to AndaSeat about the zipper on the pillow situation, and sure enough, within a couple of days, I have a replacement. It always makes me happy when a company will stand behind their product, and clearly AndaSeat will. So throw this on top of being extremely comfortable. Now I know that it's going to be supported for years to come. So with the pillow replaced, it's time to give you my final thoughts on the AndaSeat Kaiser. This chair is, by a wide margin, the most comfortable chair that I own. And that's saying something given how many chairs I've reviewed over the last couple of years. Everything about this chair screams quality. This double stitching reinforcement, that's built to last. Every moving part on this chair that's metal, it glides into position as opposed to having to be forced into position. The lumbar support, being able to tune this to exactly your personal specifications and putting support exactly where you need it. That's a game changer. The magnets on this are also a game changer. No buckles to wear out, no straps to wear out. These just snap into position. The padding on this is the kind of padding that you would expect on a chair that is built for people that are 6'5" and 550 pounds, but it's in this chair. Honestly, the only thing that I don't like, and I've talked about this in other reviews, are the casters, and it's such a minor thing. I'm gonna leave a link down below where you can get the chair wheels that I replace mine with. It's a single wheel type of caster. Maybe this isn't an issue for you, but being on carpet, it's an issue for me, but it's such a minor nitpick.
Now I know there are a couple of months left in 2022, but I'm gonna do something that I've never done before. This is it. This is my 2022 pick of the entire year. This is the best chair that you can buy for any money. It is my pick of the year, and I say that having no money change hands. AndaSeat has no input on this review, and they have no idea that this is coming, so surprise. But this is my pick of the year. If you've got somebody that's in your life that needs a new chair or just needs something that's built to last and comfortable, this Kaiser is the top of the shelf. You can read our full review over at gamingtrend.com, but it can't be beat. I'm Ron Burke, editor-in-chief for gamingtrend.com. I hope you got something useful out of this. If you did, maybe hit that like and subscribe. If not, hit it anyway. I don't know. Either way, it appeases the algorithm gods and I appreciate it. So stay safe out there and we'll see you again very soon.